Hey guys, we're here today to talk about the best mod for your GTI for under $100. Now there's a lot of mods out there that float around that mark. You've got a stud conversion at 120, you've got R8 coils for about 130, just a little bit over. We're looking for something under $100. Now this actually does create more power. Now I believe the best mod for this Mark 6 GTI under $100 is the ECS Tuning Induction Kit, which comes with a K&N high flow filter and a silicone elbow tube to reduce restrictions to the turbo. Now this will create a little bit more power, and it's not going to be 8 to 10 that K&N says just from the filter alone, but it's going to be several. It's going to be pretty noticeable. And this was one of the first things that I did for my car to create a little bit more power, and it genuinely did. I remember driving it and the car just felt alive. It really came into its own, and I was having so much fun driving it around again because you could hear that engine just a little bit better. You were having a little bit more fun. There was a little bit more pull throughout the entirety of the rev range, and I loved it. And it was less than $100, but it wasn't just a high flow filter. It's a little more than that, and it is awesome. The silicone elbow tube also looks fantastic in the engine bay. Now, we could have gone with a red one, or ECS could make one in the first place, but having a little bit of silicone in there, not just all of the stock plumbing, just tells people when they look at your car that there's a little something going on under the hood and you really care about this car and you want to have some fun. One of the other things that makes this one of the best mods for under $100 is how easy it is to install. Installing a new panel filter is incredibly easy. I mean, for this, you've actually got a couple more bolts than normal to take off, but it's still very straightforward and anyone with basic mechanic skills can do it. The elbow tube is incredibly simple, pliers to pull off the clamps, and then a wrench to tighten down the hose clamps for the new silicone tube. The power that's created by this mod is fairly minimal, but it is still noticeable. In the butt dyno report video that I did, I genuinely remember having so much fun. There was a little bit of a bump in power, and now that would also have to do with replacing an old paper air filter that had a lot of gunk built up in it. So this really freed up the air intake to get more air in quicker to create more power at the engine. And for under $100, this is actually a very good mod because the horsepower per dollar ratio is going to be a lot better than some of the other mods out there. Now, it's not going to be an engine tune where you're going to get 40 horsepower for $400. You're going to get 5 for less than 100. I only paid about $85 when this was on sale, but not on sale. It's still under $100 at about $98. And it is a great first mod to do on your GTI. What I love to do with this car is I love to take the genuine budget option of a mod and install it first before doing the full thing. Because sometimes doing the budget option holds you over until you can actually afford the full thing. Now the benefit of this mod on this GTI is it's cheaper than a lot of cold air intakes, almost all of them, and it's cheaper than a pod filter on a stick. And this is good because just a pod filter with no heat shield around it is going to soak up so much hot air from the engine bay that you might actually lose power. Even though you're getting more air in, it's going to be hotter and it's not going to be as dense as cold air. Now it's also not going to be as much as a genuine cold air intake with proper heat shielding and a higher flow rate, but it's going to be so much better than the paper filter from stock. During the early days of the butt dyno report, I was still learning how to launch properly, but with this mod, I was actually able to cut off a couple of tenths if I remember correctly, but that also had a little bit to do with increasing skill and learning how to launch and figuring out where in the rev range this car wanted to go without traction control for it to get the actual best 0 to 60 time. But I could feel it pull stronger, could feel it pull more consistently. Now, these engines do run out of grunt at about 5,500 RPMs and they start to decline. And I've had a couple people actually tell me that I should be shifting at 5,500 RPMs. But the problem with doing a 0 to 60 test is you can hit 62 miles an hour in second gear. And if I change at 5,500 RPMs, I'm actually changing at about 50 miles an hour. And that shift into third actually costs me about 2 to 3 tenths of a second every run. Now, I could get better at shifting, could get faster, could do short shift, all these other things, but on a straight 0 to 60 test, running it out in second is going to be one of the fastest ways to do it. Now, we're going to get to some other mods later, but this sub 100 induction kit mod from ECS was genuinely fantastic. Now, if you have other mods that you think were better for under $100, please let me know. I'm always willing to try new stuff and make new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Have a great day. And remember, Jesus loves you. Bye.